Enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
That's better as I adjust my volume after a vacation. We do have to do a little tweaking after vacation. Hi, it's the Opie and Anthony program. In for the vacationing Opie is Rich Voss. And, of course, Jimmy Norden.
Yes.
Always here, right by my side.
Yeah. To your right, as a wife should be.
Right. Yes, on the right hand. Hi, we're back from vacation. Like I said, this isn't another rerun, as they call it in television. It's actually live. Hi, Rich.
Can I sub in for Opie, make some changes here, and get rid of me?
What? You want to get rid of you already?
Well, I'm just saying if I had that power.
No, I think you're in it for the haul today. Later on, we have Tom Jones in.
I'm really happy about that.
Very excited about Tom Jones.
This song makes me so happy.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. I'm a man. I know you are.
Of course. What a man.
I heard things about him.
He's packing.
What'd you hear?
I heard that he's packing.
Well, of course. That's kind of been the thing that's been going on for years. Yeah, because when he performs live, he wears tight trousers.
Down there, all the way twisted.
He wears tight trousers, and you could see things, and then you go, because I had just seen Tom Jones probably a couple of years ago, at most, in Atlantic City, and you do look and go, that can't possibly be that, because it's just down. I was thinking perhaps a roll of Krugerrands were in his pocket or something. Just he travels with a big roll of Krugerrands, but no. It's all Tom, apparently.
Wow.
That's why the girls get all sexed up. Sex bomb. They get all sexed up and throw their panties at him and bras and he apparently all ages too. There were teen girls there, and then there were old bags.
Really?
They were all throwing everything from thongs to big bloomer panties, and then he wipes his head with them. He sweats like a pig. Wipes his head with him and throws him back into the crowd.
You can always tell what kind of woman is throwing her thing at him if he wipes his head and he looks like an Indian woman at the end. You're like, oh boy, she's probably cranky this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that girl had Mexican. Well, hi. Like I said before, hi. Opie isn't in because apparently honeymooning.
Yeah.
That seems to be the thing. It was all on the QT before we left and went on our Thanksgiving break. But I don't think it was that good a secret, was it?
Yes, Opie got married, and it was in California, and he's upset about the ban. He's married his girl.
Of course he did. The lovely Lindsay was as beautiful as everyone thought she would be in her wedding dress. Ugh. Isn't that ridiculous when she came walking in?
It's like, wow, that's how a bride should look.
It's it's like that's how a bride should look, not with razor stubble. Hi, Daddy.
I guess
you want me to be a bride this evening?
I guess it was a secret when it came to Pavarotti. Pavarotti? What's it? Oh,
Pavarotti?
You know, it's mere moments after the show started. Mere moments.
What does that even mean?
I don't know what he was even going
Pavarotti?
for.
Yeah. You know the guys that take the picture? I was the picture. I wasn't going to make any mistakes today, too. I said no mistakes.
The Pavarotti?
Well, you're not as far as Voss goes. That's right on target.
Was a secret as far as the Pavarotti, you mean like...
Forget it. It didn't work. That one didn't work.
See, he was, I guess, trying to make a point that there weren't a bunch of photographers there snapping pictures at the fact that Opie was getting married. So he wanted to say that it was a big secret with the paparazzi.
If you mixed up Pavarotti and paparazzi, I'll throw my hot coffee in your face.
Oh, he did.
It's like last night I was out to dinner with Voss late. We had to get up this morning, and he wanted the fish and the asparagus.
No, he didn't say it.
And I go, what did you say? He goes, I got asparagus.
I did not.
Oh. Shut your mouth. You did. I heard you left the off.
What kind of sauce was on your pescetti? And did you wipe your mouth with your napkin? You are a child.
I'm having problems.
The
really?
Pavarotti. Pavarazzi, then he says, which, of course, a photography taking Jew haters. Pavarazzis.
Yeah, I always mess that one up.
Yeah, do you?
And Danny was trying to signal poor E-Rock to get some Pavarotti on. And
Pavarotti. Because I had no idea what he meant. I couldn't possibly fathom that it was paparazzi.
I know what he meant now, and I still can't believe that an adult male said that.
Yeah, just awful.
What are you looking for?
He was... oh, God.
Spell it? R-E-T-A-R-D. Implies to either one of you.
So his wedding was last weekend.
Yeah.
At the beginning of our Thanksgiving holiday. And it was in Philly. And it was like I was saying, Lindsay looked great. But I'm done with weddings, though. I'm done with weddings. I don't like the whole wedding thing. I wasn't even involved in this one either. Like everyone's like, why aren't you, on the crew, on the wedding crew? I was like, nah, I'm glad I didn't want to be. And then the seating, I got a little bone to pick with Opie.
I have an issue over the seating too.
The seating was weird. I was behind a concrete pillar and could not see anything. My back was to it, so even if I was facing it and the pillar wasn't there, it would have been hard to see.
Foss, do you want to ask the pillar why he didn't just turn it over and sleep on the other side?
It was just I was being blocked by a giant pillar, and I was at a table. The table setup where all of the guests were. I think they just put names in a hat and threw them out. We were like, I wanted to sit with Jimmy.
Yes.
And, all my pals. And I was with Ron and Fez, which was fine. But then, like, Travis was at my table, which was okay. But I would have rather had Jimmy at my table. And Danny, of course, I would rather have at the table. Because I hang with Danny a lot. Like, you should know, who we're hanging with usually.
Or at the tables next to each other?
Next to each other. Yeah, there was a table. Like, I was at the table with Ron and Fez, and then there was a table in between, and then there was the table with Patrice and Jimmy. I'm like, what? Why the hell? You guys should have put that table next to us.
You guys were almost in the kitchen. That's where your table was.
I was the furthest away from where everything was going on. It was the table furthest away from everything.
You were at the undesirables.
Yes. Was it the table that they would have put, like, Dave at?
They put a couple with us.
Well, tell them who was at the table first. It was Rich and Vonnie. It was Patrice and his girl.
Yeah.
It was me and an empty seat.
They should have put you guys next to our table, though. At least we could have kind of leaned over and gotten a few chuckles.
And then there was the football player.
Tyson Walter and his wife, who was fine. I like Tyson.
Who hates him. And she had, bigger dreams. And
Jesus, Rich.
And then
beat your ass.
I know you will. What do you mean? One of Plaxico Burress?
I don't care.
Yeah. Hold this.
And then some couple. And we're talking, we're just talking what we talk, just filthy humans.
Oh, some random couple was thrown in there?
I know Lindsay's dad at one point came over. He's like, look, I know you guys don't know. I forget what their names are. He goes, they're good people. Just talk to them a little bit. Get to know them. He was trying to be get everybody to know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And he literally could have been saying, hey, there's an apple in there. You might want to go pick it up and talk to it. Not that they were bad people. I don't know them.
Right.
I don't talk to them.
Yeah, this is kind of a mood when the table's all comics. You're going to talk about things you usually talk about when you're hanging out. And then to throw a random couple in there, it's bad for everyone involved.
Especially with Patrice, too, because he knows everything. So no matter what, he's going to start giving that couple advice. She's going to want to end up leaving him.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
He was saying things, and what's his name? The football player's wife was just looking at him going, is this man really for real? The stuff he's saying about women, that their value is all about their looks.
Well,
and stuff,
yeah. Patrice has his logic as far as and reason as far as relationships going. On the show, it works great.
Yes,
amongst the comics, it works great, and even the listeners and everything. But amongst people that don't know him, he kind of comes off like a lunatic.
Yes, he's wearing a pimp hat, and his girlfriend has a black eye. So what are they going to expect?
Oh my God! Yeah.
On the show, he's great, and he's a brilliant comic. And at weddings, he's just a spoiler of fun
really
and a ruiner of relationships.
So Bonnie and I are talking about the first time like the first night I met her, the second night I met her, the things I did in the car with her.
Yeah.
That involve my face,
Of course.
And we're talking about this at the table like it's a normal thing, and the couple is just staring at us going, the second time he met her in the car, he's doing that.
They were horrified. They were watching the rest of the table like it was a giant screening of Two Girls, One Cup. They were mortified at the language, the dismissive nature in which we shut up when we talk to each other.
Yeah, you aren't the most courteous people to each other, but it's fun. It's what you guys do, and if you just throw a random couple in there, they're not going to get it.
And all the waiters looked like there was something crooked about their heads or something wrong with them. And we had this one really gay guy, and I just said, "Can I have coffee?" And I called him Cookie, And he got so mad. He went, "My name is
offended?
Ed or something." All right, Cookie, just get me a coffee.
He was a very slight man. He was he was the waiter with the waiter with the tiny head. It was almost like a little child had put on a big waiter's uniform.
I was just fixated on the lesbian waiter.
Oh God!
Yeah. Joe Pesci. Every time he came back, I thought of somebody else.
She made Rosie look feminine.
Yeah, that was the manliest woman. I was fixated on that one. I wasn't able to really mingle with the homosexual gentleman waiter.
Yeah, the seating, I had issue. When Opie gets back, we're going to discuss the seating.
The seating was one thing, but let's bring it back even further and go to the church.
Okay.
The church was, of course, beautiful. One of those full church mass weddings. Then I found out later the church was set for a location for a movie.
Yeah,
Sixth Sense.
That is the Sixth Sense Church. I did not know that.
Yes. Iraq?
Iraq, if you would.
Ron made a point of telling everybody that this was the church as everyone's leaving after the ceremony. He's like, where this is?
Sixth Sense Church. Yeah, I didn't know that. I would have, taken some pictures with my iPhone instead of texting everybody during the ceremony. If I knew that was the church. But Patrice walks in, and there wasn't one person surprised at his getup. And I will call it a get-up. It was a black tie event, this wedding, which I guess to some people constituted a Budweiser jacket.
Yeah, I
I saw one gentleman in front of me had a Budweiser jacket on. Someone else was pretty much just came in their PJs.
One guy was in sweatpants.
Sweatpants.
I thought it was black tar.
Wait a minute. What does that have to do
Nothing. He just was trying to think of a T word.
I know. Like hot tar.
We got it.
For hot tar.
Yeah. It still doesn't
It was
make
terrible.
sense. Why would the guy in sweatpants?
If you went with the flow, no one would have realized.
No one wears
there.
sweatpants when they're tarring a roof. You would wear something a little more durable.
No one.
No one complains about a pillar. Okay, big deal.
What? I couldn't see from behind. I didn't have X-rated vision.
Well, you're the host, and you tell somebody else, "I want to sit at that side of the table."
I wasn't going to sit. Wow, you think I was going to tell Opie anything about that wedding? You think I was going to suggest anything?
No, at the
with
table.
With the state of mind he was in before the wedding, the weeks before the wedding, he was Mr. Stress.
I will say,
I was going to go, oh, by the way, I don't like my table.
Voss, they remind me of the seats that Voss got us for the Trump roast. Like just behind the pillar, out of the way.
Yeah. Keep him out of the way. Yeah, rumor has it that
Anthony had to watch the reception on a screen.
Yeah.
Couldn't see.
I couldn't see the actual reception. I watched it on a screen that was a delay. There's a delay on there. The seating chart was done just moments before the reception. Just moments before, they were still scrambling and figuring out who was going to be sitting where.
We should have been at the same table.
Yes.
Aunt and I should have been at the same table. But that was also because, like, for other people, too, not just us. Like, well, they wanted other people to have fun tables. And let's be honest, we're the big gets.
Yes, we are the big gets.
You're the biggest get. And in that rotten situation, I'm the second biggest.
No, I think we are just the big gets.
No, I would take you. Not even with false humility. I would take Anthony first. I would proudly take a second to Ant. They wanted to spread us out a little bit, and they figured Ron and Fez, they probably could have spread a little bit too. They could have put Fez at one
Fez
table.
at another table. With Fez, it was like dining with the captain of a ship. He had that big beard on, that gray beard. He looked like he had to get up and steer the Titanic. He looked like the head of the White Star Line. His big beard. Yeah, Patrice's outfit. I got to get back to that getup. Everybody was saying, I wonder what he's going to show up in. And he shows up wearing his hat a fedora, like a velvet fedora, and some type of velvety suit jacket. And his girl showed up, and just bam. His girl is bam.
Yeah,
I know.
she's very sexy.
Right? Real sexy.
My wife was sitting right behind him, in the pew behind him, and she's going, "Look at her ass." My wife is,
She was Bonnie was commenting on
Bonnie
Patrice's
couldn't believe
chick's
how
ass.
round and solid her ass is.
It's I got to be honest. Even though it's Patrice's girl, I know her well enough to say it really is awe-inspiring.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I told him last night on the phone he has a perfect girlfriend.
He talks a lot about the fact that he doesn't deserve her in the pure physical sense. Like why
Really?
is she? But then, yeah, exactly. I'm breaking new ground here. But then he starts talking about her place in the relationship and things, and people that listen to the show have heard it. It's just ridiculous that she's ever with him. Like, what type of self-esteem problem does she have that she stays with him when he just talks like that right in front of her?
He reminds her of somebody. He reminds her of a conflict she's working out in the past. And when that conflict gets worked out, we're going to have one sad fat man on our hands.
Like, I don't think he understands how good he has it.
Yeah.
He
beautiful.
talks.
Look at her.
Yeah. He talks a great game, but the second she's gone, does he think he's going to be able to hook up again like that?
What didn't you like about his outfit? The fact that he should have been swinging a watch and had "Keep on Truckin'" written under him?
Yeah. He's zoot-suiting.
Meanwhile, at the church, as he's walking in, he sees all of us, the staff and everything in tuxes.
Yeah.
So he's surprised, and he's pointing and laughing at us.
Yeah.
In my nice three-piece tux, thank you, Keith. And then, Patrice shows up with his mustard tie on.
With a mustard-colored tie and his fedora.
I know.
And that, too, by the way, let's bring up gospel music. I was very taken by the selection of music in the church. I walked in. I was ready for a typical wedding, and white wedding. And I walk in to gospel music being sung by black gospel singers up in the balcony.
They were good, though. Their voices were great.
Rich, they all are.
They're musical people, Richard.
Yes, the singing, the gospel music.
It was Baptist music.
It was
What?
Baptist.
Gospel.
Yeah, Baptist, like a Baptist church.
Yes.
I can't even argue with you on that because I don't know.
There was we were on the floor.
Same thing.
And the choir was up, and they were good. I mean,
Yeah.
they were up on there was a wraparound balcony around the entire church. It was really an odd-looking church, but very nice. And I was looking, because the whole gospel choir was looking over at the wedding at one point. And I said to whoever I was sitting next to that it looked like a court scene from the 1950s.
Yeah, they were
All the white
above.
people on the bottom and all the black people on top. Because there was a time when they stopped singing.
Yeah. Patrice had a great point, too, about how it was a Catholic ceremony. So there was all the sadness and Jesus dying stuff and all that. But then with the gospel, it was like, and Jesus died for our sins. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. And you're like, it's kind of a weird juxtaposition going on here that I don't quite understand.
See, all the pictures in that church too were like Jesus being dragged with a. You guys got to let go because I mean it's really depressing.
Oh, being a Jew in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of pictures of Jesus suffering in Catholic churches.
I mean, it's
Rich,
not a happy moment going there.
No, it's
looking
not
around.
meant to be. You're not supposed to feel good or happy when you leave church for some reason. They say it's a good spiritually uplifting thing, but you walk in there, and wherever you look, there is a gentleman just being nailed on the cross, carrying the cross. It's all about just suffering.
Yeah, it just,
Why don't they show Christ in a Buick looking out the window with a smile?
Yeah, just kind of happy. Maybe some of the earlier days where he's building a table.
Yeah, on
just
the third-
feeling good about sanding the top
on the
nicely.
third tee.
Yes, on the third tee.
Here's Christ watching the Apostle Paul step into dog logs.
Yeah,
Look at him
and just laughing with the apostles. One of the apostles falls down, and they just laugh. Walks into a glass door. Oh, there weren't any.
Oh, wow, we have...
Oh, look at that.
Oh, what is this music? 40 minutes later.
40 minutes later, and how about the gospel
Where was
music?
the
That would have been
gospel?
nice
Why didn't
at
you
the
put gospel
time.
music?
Oh. Well, that would have
That would have been
actually
perfect.
been fitting when I was talking about gospel music.
Yes.
Well, Opie's not here to give a glaring look at Iraq of hatred and put the fear of God into him. Is this like the substitute teacher's in for you, Iraq? You're just going to F off all day? Because the real teacher isn't here?
Was looking for the song they were singing.
I think.
What do you think? All the listeners were at the church?
Yeah, they were all there and would have known.
I think Patrice was wearing the Suge Knight collection.
It did look very good. It did look very Suge Knight, very Suge Knight-ish. We must take a break.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back. And of course, the number 877-212-ONDA. O&A. 877-212-O&A if you want to call up. It's the Opie and Anthony program. Ooh. Picking out my favorite bands on purpose. Yes. Hi, it's the Opie and Anthony show. Hello. Opie's on his honeymoon, so we're here anywho with Rich Voss standing in and Jimmy Norden.
Discussing the wedding.
Yeah, we were talking about Opie's wedding. Opie is he's married now. He's a married guy. And we were talking about the seating arrangements and how far away. I couldn't have been further away from the action. Like, I would think. I'm not, and I don't know how entirely unhappy I am with that, because I kind of like being in the back of the classroom kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I was so far away. It was a pretty big room. And I was so far away and behind structures that I couldn't see anything. Like when they were dancing for the first time, I had to get up out of my chair and peer around the pillar, and I still really couldn't see anything.
It was, I will honestly say, and without prejudice, I will say it's the best wedding I've been to, because there was a lot of cheesy stuff that wasn't done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. They kind of put the kibosh on some of the cheese.
Some of the stuff that makes you want to vomit at a wedding.
Yeah.
I wish they would have served the dinner within 4 hours of our arrival.
that cheesy thing.
But aside from that, I mean, they really didn't. They didn't cheese it up, which I like a lot.
You know what got me though? Ron Bennington from the Ron and Fez show. He was trying his best to bring cheese into it.
Was he?
Yeah, he at one point got a conga line going because no one at Opie's wedding was going to do the conga line.
No.
It's cheesy, it's stupid, it's so hack, and Ronnie just gets him and goes, "Come on, everybody!" He grabs some girl by the hips, and or Fez, one or the other, and started conga lining around the room. So he was trying his best to keep the cheese factor in it. But there was no the bride cuts the cake song.
No.
There was no garter thing.
Right.
Where they did the garter and then the throwing of the garter and all that happy horse crap.
No chicken dance.
Yeah.
Chicken dance.
Or slide.
Yeah, none of that cheesy crap. The music with the band
was great.
I felt like my old aunt. I kept saying the band's a little loud.
The band was playing nothing but like old music. They I don't know if they stepped it up, brought it into the 70s at one point, but it was mostly like 40s music.
They were good. They had good voices, I thought.
Of course you thought so.
Yes, we were in high school when those songs were written.
Yeah, no Cotton Eye Joe was being played, thank God. But yeah, it was a very typical of how I know Opie that it was his wedding. Like, they turned the mics off during the exchange of the vows, which was a little odd, but that's, Opie said, he goes, I just kind of want this private little moment thing going on here. You know, I didn't want to blast it out over the whole church. So you kind of just heard them kind of mumbling back and forth to each other.
I really wanted to hear the vows.
I so wanted to hear the vows.
Isn't that why you go? That's the main stuff.
Yes.
To the church.
To hear the people lying to each other.
I know.
That's the best part. I promised it to you.
I said, I guess, I think, at mine. Do you?
Did you say, I guess?
No, I said something dumb.
It was so... I was the best man at this last wedding. And there's one part where...
At Rich's wedding.
Yes, Voss. Yes, Voss.
Lest people confuse and think you were the best man at Opie's.
No. Opie's best man was his brother, Scott, who
Yes.
did a good job. He actually had a really good toast.
Yeah,
Nice
he
laugh
did.
in it. It was touching. It wasn't... it was very good. nowhere near as quality as the toast I gave at Voss's, but I'm me. I'm kidding, of course. It was.
Of course.
It was. Voss had to repeat something. What was the woman? There was a woman who married. She's Canadian, and she looked like B. Arthur, and she married Voss and Bonnie. And I forget what she was called, but you had to repeat what she said. And his mushed mouth, incompetent and bumbling through what she said. Everyone in the wedding just kind of hated him for it, for his complete inability.
The also at the church. Sorry, I got distracted. I had to send idiot on a mission. David.
5 people get up.
Yeah, there's somebody at the door that has to get in, and there you go. Oh my God.
He still didn't know.
Oh Jesus, no, he didn't. I showed him the text, and he didn't even read it. He walked. I just received a text saying, I'm at the front door and can't get in because I don't have a card. So instead of interrupting the show, I thought I would continue, show the text to David so he could read it, and then realize someone had to go to the door. He passed by it and gave it a fleeting glimpse and kept walking. He is the dumbest of the dumb.
Who do you think you were showing it to? Sam, and who's 20 feet away?
Yes.
How's he going to read a little iPhone text?
Is a moron.
I thought it was how you prayed. You wrote things down and held them up, and God read them. David's a boob.
But he thinks he's so important. He's walking.
Oh, I know.
It's almost he's walking around. I thought he was your boss for a second.
Yeah, well, he will be eventually.
Could happen.
It is the media we work in.
So, what were we saying about the wedding? That we were saying something about the wedding.
Yes. And of course, we got thrown off track by David.
The toast.
Yeah.
The toast was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the toast was very nice, but I couldn't see that really either because I was behind a stone pillar. It was somebody else that brought. Yeah. Here was something that happened in the church. Brother Weeze was there.
Oh, yes.
Who obviously very important as far as Opie's career goes. We've heard about Brother Weeze for many years. He went up and did, I guess, the reading that goddamn letters to the Corinthians or from the Corinthians, whatever.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. But he went up, and the first thing he did, he gets up, and it's a long walk from the pew up to the microphone. He had to go all the way around the altar and everything. It took a while.
Yes.
And he finally reaches the little pulpit area with the microphone and grabs the sides of the podium and leans in and goes, "Is this on?" And it was like uber silence. It went beyond quiet. And yeah, all I feel about 3 minutes later is a vibration in my pocket, which is my iPhone. And I pull it out and check the text that came in, and it is from my pal Jimmy Norden. And it just says, "Is this thing on?" And then in quotes, "crash." And then the whole thing just turned into a texting match between the entire show staff.
Dude, somebody pointed out the laugh, and I'm sure Weeze would have laughed if somebody had a car crash on their phone and had played the car crash. And
right at that moment.
It would have been the biggest laugh you've ever heard anything get.
Because it was pure, unadulterated silence.
Church silence.
Church silence. Not even that little low mumbling in church silence. Everyone was completely just taken by the fact that was not funny.
It was so. All right, here's how it went. You got to play. This is how it should have went with the correct. All right. Is this thing on? No. Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, take two. And now with the reading of the letter from the Corinthians, Brother Weeze. That's the walk up.
Yeah.
It's taking a while.
Is this thing on? A letter from Paul to the Corinthians.
He didn't know he was reading till he got there. He was sitting next to me.
Did he really not know?
He didn't
way.
know. I'm not lying. He didn't know he was reading.
From the seating thing, I don't doubt it.
He didn't know he was reading.
I was getting scared that I was going to be, and now Anthony's going to come up and juggle.
Yes.
He said
a read off from a read off.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry.
From Mein Kampf?
No, of course. I was going to say a reading from Goebbels to the Corinthians. I said a read off because I'm talentless.
A reading from Hitler to his incompetent generals.
How dare you defy me? And then he goes, and Anthony sits down again. Go ahead, sorry.
No, nothing. He was just looking at the, the, what do you call it?
The program. There were programs that were handed out.
The program, and he saw his name, and he was like, and he had to open the show. I mean, he was like the first reader too.
Yeah, that was the big opener.
And it had to be scary. I mean, you're up top there. That wasn't like. I mean, he was up there like that's where the Pope probably goes when he's in town. That whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. He's a radio guy,
there.
dude. He's fine with reading. He probably just would like to have a little. He wasn't
a little notice maybe, and not something. It's just something about radio guys because I tried the same thing at some dopey awards show where you try to make a joke and it just doesn't work.
It was like watching one of your buddies. Because, his show is back on, by the way. They're back on in Rochester.
Yes.
It's funny that one of your friends makes a joke and it bombs. And it was just funny. It was like...
Oh, yeah.
It could have been any one of us that went up there and said something that bombed, and would have been.
Yeah. But the only response we had was dead silence. We couldn't go like, ah,
you couldn't.
Or, boo. So it was just this dead silence, which was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it's a church.
Yeah. Then we just started, like I said, just text bombing each other about everything in the church and the gospel. Of course, I had some comments about the gospel singers. Yeah, hoping none of those texts got intercepted.
But it was for a church ceremony. It was Ope looked pretty together. Like I'll say this, I didn't know how he was going to be. Like he looked a little.
Could tell he was nervous.
Nervous.
Yeah.
But better than I thought he'd be.
Yeah.
And once it was over. Once we got to we actually went back to the hotel for a little while. It was the Ritz-Carlton in Philly. And from the church, we had like a 2-hour time to get cocktails or whatever. Or some of us got massages with releases. That's what some of us did,
I wonder who those people were.
Some of us had at 6:15 to be down at the reception by 7. Had a massage girl come in. And by 6:58, we're cleaning things out of their belly button going, I got to go. Kenny, get up here. I don't know how to fix my cummerbund.
With his smelly chlorine-smelling cummerbund.
Yeah, I had no idea how to fix it.
Squishing out of the top like space food.
Yeah. So it was that was what I did on my little break.
Yeah.
And I forget what I was going to say.
Yeah, we were all gathering at the hotel for. That's okay. Just sign that. I don't know what that is.
What is he signing?
Danny just.
He's handed me my breakfast order.
Joe's new.
Dude, you're in the middle of the.
You come around this way.
Me and Ed are talking, and the new intern.
He stepped right in the middle of our conversation.
Just walks in the middle of our conversation. I don't.
How do you have a?
I'm not saying that we should be revered as saints, but.
Yes, but we are conversing on a national radio show here.
I don't know why you. I don't know.
How do you guys get?
Why would Paco from Bad Boys?
I know. How do you
walk right in the middle?
How do you get 40-year-old interns? You guys got to be like in his 30s.
We
right?
got it.
Nothing like that.
No,
I'm sorry.
He really doesn't look all that old.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe I should,
He first tried to explain. No, that's why I didn't laugh.
Yeah,
If he looked old, I would have laughed, Rich.
All right, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what you're
I
talking
like the
about.
fact that Voss said in his 40s and no one laughs. He went, because he looks like he's in his 30s.
Oh, looks like, Does he?
Yeah, I mean, he could be in his 20s. It just keeps going backwards.
Yeah, we went back into the reception was at the Ritz-Carlton, so there was a small room that we were supposed to go into to have drinks, but we decided to go to the bar because it was better selection.
Yeah.
We need, a few of the people I was with, Danny and whatnot. We need our booze. Need our booze. So we went in there and started our drinking immediately following the ceremony, even though the reception wasn't going to start for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
So we started drinking.
It really was an event.
Yeah, well, the whole weekend was, especially for us, because I went to the Borgata before the wedding. We took a car down to the Borgata to do a little gambling. which gambling, I assume gambling means there's a chance you're going to win. So I didn't do gambling. I made a giant contribution to the new wing over at the Borgata.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Didn't get any better?
Oh. Hey, Opie,
That wing is nice,
Opie didn't get a gift. That's how bad it was. I used every last dime I had on me. And the bag that I had Keith guarding oh so much on the way in was just tossed on top of the rest of the baggage on the way out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, they cleaned me out pretty good. And then I was smart. I went back after the wedding, hoping to make it all back.
Sure,
That's what gamblers do.
Of course. And wow, didn't quite do that either.
Did you get any of it back?
It's like
No.
Did you give more away?
Oh yeah.
it's like walking into the cell. I'll show him for what he did, and then it happened.
Yeah. I'm gonna show him. Yeah, they might have got me on the way in, but I'll get them on the way back. Wow. The dealers were magical. If I had a 20, they were pulling up 21s. There was a hand in particular where if you get dealt a couple of 2s and the dealer has a 4 showing, you split your 2s.
See, I may sound like a novice gambler.
Yes, Jimmy.
But
yes,
if that
Jimmy.
happens, can you yell "Deuces Wild"? I don't know if that's right or wrong.
Yes,
And
see? That's a secret. Most people don't know. And then you call them 3s.
Yes.
Do something stupid.
You yell "Deuces Wild" and you pick him up and you run around the table going.
See, no one knew that.
What happened when you split your deuces?
Well, you split your deuces because the deal's showing a 4, and you're thinking he's going to break,
Yeah.
So you split the deuces, and another deuce comes out. So now, when you split your deuces, you got to put up another bet.
Yeah.
You double your bet. So you got to put down another one. And then when you split again, because the third deuce comes up, you put up the bet again. Now the card comes out on top of the first deuce. It's a 10. So there's a 12.
That's not good.
That's not very good at all. Then the second card comes out. It's a 10. There's another 12. The third card comes out. It's a 9. Now you have 11. So you place now a fourth bet down on this disaster because you have an 11 and double down. Now you get one card. But since you have an 11, odds are a 10 comes out and you have 21. What comes out?
Wait, and hold on. You double down on
an 11.
On 11.
on the one bet.
Yeah.
So you have you have
two 12s.
two 12s and an 11. So the 11 you double down on.
He has
Yes.
4
Okay.
bets going now.
Double down. Now there's 4 of the original bet is on that table. And an ace comes out, making the third and final 12. But, hey, no.
You could have made it
hope isn't-
22.
Hope isn't lost.
Oh.
Hope isn't lost because the dealer has a 4 showing. So that's, under normal circumstances, they would turn over that 10, have a 14, turn over another 10, bust, and I win all my 4 bets. But, of course, the dealer turned over a 6, making a 10, and then the ever-present and all-knowing king comes out to give the dealer a 20.
That's great. So you got a 22 and they had a 20. You win.
See, it doesn't quite work that way.
Oh.
That was how every hand went. Every hand. And boy, was I letting the dealer and everybody in the area know that I was not happy with the way I was being dealt.
Were you being a sore sport?
I was being what they call a sore loser. At one point, Keith was looking for me after I stormed off in anger. Keith was looking for me, and he went into the high roller area and stepped up to the top of the stairs, and everyone just turned around and went, "He's not here!" Like they all knew I wasn't there because it was quiet, and they were all like, if you find him, don't bring him back here kind of a thing.
Did the casino want you back there?
Well, of course. But the people, I kind of turn into whiny Anthony when
Whiny, spitting Anthony.
yes, at one point, some poor gentleman whose only job it is to polish the floors at the Borgata for probably minimum wage, was polishing the floor at the exit way to the high roller section. And as I walked out, I made a point of spitting right in front of him on the floor. I spit on the floor in front of him and gave him a look like, yeah, clean it up.
Were you trying to help him polish the floor?
Yes, a spit shine. Yeah, you should see the way they used to call him Spit Shine Sammy.
Makes the floor to Borgata like mirrors.
Like mirrors. You love it. Now go get your broom. Go get your shine spit.
Was the dealer when he was busting you?
Yeah.
Was he making a face like, "Oh, I wish you were winning"? Face?
Dude, if they had an emotion, those people that deal, it would be one thing. But they're emotionless monsters. They're cyborgs. They have no emotion. So I lost and felt very poorly during the time I was leaving. But I get over it quickly. I rationalize it like, well, what was I going to buy? A car, Yeah, we got to take another break.
All right.
But just hours more of merriment. So don't go anywhere. What's that number again? It's a 1-877-212-ONA. That's what you got to call. 877-212-6263. We'll be back with more of the Opie and Anthony Show.
All right, well, that sucked. To hear the Opie and Anthony Show 5 days a week live on satellite radio, online on your phone or tablet, or even on demand, go to SiriusXM.com. Also, interact with the Opie and Anthony Show on Twitter, @Opie Radio, @Anthony Cumia, and @Jim Norton.